Hello, this is Prince Will, OP Global Consults. It's beautiful over here. I hope it is wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night in any parts of the world where you are. Today, I want to talk about moving to Canada. Of course, many of us want to relocate to Canada for different purposes. Some want to go to Canada to study, to work, but the end goal is to remain in Canada, to stay back in Canada, obtain permanent residence and eventual citizenship. Who doesn't want to go to Canada? Who doesn't want to reside in Canada with their family? Probably everybody, or let's say most people. So today I want to share with us how we can go about this, and not through the study route, which is one of the easiest but most expensive, but we can move to Canada through the work permits. Yes, Canada needs workers, foreign workers in different sector for the economy of Canada to boom, right? There are shortages of workers in different sectors in Canada. They need workers. So if you want to move to Canada this 2024 or early 2025, you can move through the work visa, the work permits. Now, how do you get these work permits? You have to obtain an LMIA. This LMIA is Labor Market Impact Assessment. It is obtained from the government through the employer that is bringing you into Canada. It's similar to the UK COS, Certificate of Sponsorship. The difference is that while the UK COS takes a couple of weeks, Canada LMIA can take months. So let's say you want to work in Canada as a caregiver, as a nurse, as an engineer, as a truck driver, as whatever you want to work in Canada as. Now you seek employment from an employer that is licensed to recruit a foreigner into working in Canada. All right. So you apply for a job, obtain LMIA through this company, through this employer. Now, we at OP Consult, we can assist you go through this process from the LMIA to the work permit. So the first stage is for you to apply for your LMIA. Once you get it, the process takes about 3 to 4 months. Once you get this LMIA, then you can proceed with your work permit application, which can take a couple of weeks, depending on your country of origin or where you are submitting your visa application documents, okay? Let's say you're going alone, you just get LMIA. After 3 to 4 months, hopefully it's out, then you apply for your work permits. Once you arrive Canada, you resume employment. Now, depends on what is on your LMIA. Some of these jobs may give you accommodation, but majority, you have to take care of your accommodation yourself and, of course, your flights. It depends on the package, depends on what is being offered to you by this employer issuing you an LMIA. If you want to relocate with your family, which is the case for most people, once you get your LMIA, right, you apply for your work permit as in principal applicant. Then for your spouse, you have two options for your spouse. You can either apply for an open work permit for your spouse. It means your spouse is not tied to an employer in Canada. He or she can work in any company, in any sector in Canada. So you can either apply for an open work permit for your spouse at the same time when you're applying for your own work permits, that is after your LMI is issued, or your spouse can apply for a visit visa. Then when he or she gets to Canada with you, or later on, they can get a job in Canada and transition to a work permit. It depends on what you want. Now for your kids, you can apply for a visit visa for your kids. When they get to Canada, they start schooling, primary or secondary or university. You can then apply for a study permit for your kids. So let's break it down again. First stage is LMIA. You get your LMIA, then you apply for your work permits. You can apply with your family during this work permits process at the same time, or you can first get your own work permit, get into Canada, then your family applies and joins you in Canada. Or you can apply together. You apply for your own work permit, your spouse apply for an open work permit or a visit visa, and your kids apply for a visit visa. When they get to Canada, your kids change to study permit because they have to study. Either they are studying in high school or they are studying in university, they have to study. Now, these are how you can get into Canada on work permits. The process, work permit takes 3 to 4 months in most cases. 3 to 4 months. So once it's out, you submit your application for visa, that is work permit application. It takes some countries 12 weeks, some countries 15 weeks, some countries 18 weeks, some countries 10 weeks. It depends on the speed of Canadian embassy in charge of your application. These are just what you need to know about applying for Canada work permits. So give and take, if you start your application, let's say this August, by September, October, November, December, your LMIA should be out. So you start your work permit application same December or in January. So once you start your work permit application, let's say in January, by March, in most cases, or April, your work permit should be out alongside your spouse open work permit and your kids visit visa. Remember, for this work permit for Canada, since you are going through the LMIA route, you don't need proof of funds. Okay, you don't need to show your bank statement proving you have sufficient amount to take care of yourself while you are in Canada. However, if you are going with your family, you have to show you can take care of your family because they are dependent on you. So your LMIA, that's your employment offer, the salary you are earning determines if you can take care of this family. Or if you have a bank statement to support the LMIA you've gotten, these are documents you need to bring your family, your spouse, your kids with you to Canada through the work permits. There are so many jobs, both high-skilled jobs or low-skilled jobs in Canada. You can always apply for any of these. So if you need assistance in applying for LMIA, getting your work permit in Canada this 2024, reach out to us on WhatsApp +234 80 Send us an email at travels@opglobalconsults.com or check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Uphill Consults. We'll be glad to assist you get this employment offer in Canada, that is LMIA, and your work permit application, both for yourself, your spouse, and your kids. Who says you can't get to Canada? You can get to Canada within the next 6 months. You can get to Canada within the next 5 months, within the next 7 months. But you have to start your application as soon as possible because every government, Canada inclusive, have the right to change policies. So while the policy still favors you right now, you can start your application and get into Canada as quick as possible. We'll be sharing more tips with respect to provinces you should want to go to in Canada due to housing, due to taxes, due to cost of living and all that. But for now, let's stick to this work permit for Canada. This is Prince Will, Uphill Global Consults. Do have a lovely day.